The sound of laughter and clinking glasses filled the restaurant that evening, but beneath the cheerful noise, something darker was brewing. The clock had just struck 8:30 p.m. when a fragile-looking waitress named Emily stumbled out from the kitchen, clutching a tray of steaming plates. She moved quickly, nervously, trying to keep up with the rush of customers. The manager's eyes, cold, sharp, and impatient, followed her every move. One small mistake, and she knew she'd pay for it. Her hands trembled as she placed a plate on a table, and a drop of soup splashed onto the floor. That's when it happened. The manager stormed out from behind the counter, his voice cutting through the chatter like a whip. Before anyone could react, his hand came down hard, hitting Emily on the side of her head. The room froze. Plates stopped clinking. Forks hovered midair. Emily's body hit the floor, and for a moment, there was nothing but silence. The customers stared, horrified, but no one moved. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and standing up for what's right, please take a second to like, comment, share, and subscribe to channel name, because sometimes, a single act of compassion can change everything. Emily's vision blurred as she tried to get up, clutching the side of her head. The pain wasn't just physical, it was years of humiliation, unpaid overtime, and broken pride crashing down all at once. She was young, barely 22, and had been working at that diner since she was 17. Her mother was sick, her brother in school, and this job was the only thing keeping their small world from collapsing. She bit her lip to hold back tears, whispered an apology she didn't know, and dragged herself back to the kitchen. The manager muttered something under his breath, pretending nothing had happened. The other waiters kept working, eyes down, hearts heavy. It wasn't the first time he'd done something like this. He was a man who preyed on the weak, knowing they needed the paycheck too much to fight back. But that night, something different was about to happen. As Emily leaned against the counter, trying to steady herself, one of the customers, a tall, bearded man in a black leather jacket, watched quietly from the corner. His expression hardened. He didn't say a word, just stood up, paid for his meal, and walked out into the night. Outside, the roar of engines soon followed. 10 minutes later, the ground shook as a line of motorcycles pulled up outside the restaurant, chrome flashing under the streetlights, engines growling like thunder. Heads turned as more than a dozen bikers stepped off their bikes, their jackets marked with the emblem of a local brotherhood known for protecting those who couldn't protect themselves. Inside, the manager's arrogance faltered as the door burst open. The man in the black jacket, now with his brothers behind him, walked straight to the counter. The air thickened with silence. Every customer could feel it, the quiet power of men who didn't need to raise their voices to be heard. They didn't shout, didn't threaten. Instead, the bearded man pointed to Emily, who stood frozen near the kitchen door, her eyes wide with confusion and fear. "She okay?" he asked gently, his tone calm but firm. Emily nodded, even though tears streamed down her face. She wasn't okay, but she didn't know how to say that to anyone. The bikers turned their attention to the manager. He stammered, trying to act tough, but his voice cracked under their gaze. They didn't lay a hand on him, but the message was clear as one of them pulled out a phone and began recording. The bearded man leaned across the counter and said, "No one touches her again. This place is done tonight." Then, with a silent nod, the group turned and walked out, one of them gently guiding Emily by the arm. Outside, the bikers surrounded her like a shield. They called for an ambulance, made sure she got checked out, and one of them, an older man with gray hair, gave her a small card. "You ever need work, or just someone to talk to, call us," he said quietly. Emily tried to speak, but her voice broke. For the first time in years, someone had stood up for her. By midnight, news of the incident had spread. The restaurant's doors were closed, the manager under investigation, and the video recorded by the bikers was circulating online. People were furious, demanding justice. Messages of support flooded in from all over, people offering Emily help, new jobs, even donations to cover her mother's medical bills. Days passed, and Emily began to heal, not just from the wound on her head, but from the years of pain she had carried alone. The bikers checked on her often, bringing groceries, helping her family, making sure she knew she wasn't invisible anymore. One of them even helped her get a job at a small family cafe, where kindness wasn't a rarity, it was the rule. Months later, as she wiped a counter at her new job, she caught her reflection in the window. There was a quiet strength in her eyes now, a spark that had been missing for too long. She realized something powerful that day: sometimes, strangers become your protectors, and broken moments can become the start of something new. The diner she once worked in never reopened. But people still spoke about that night, the night a group of bikers stood up for a waitress and shut down a place built on cruelty. And though Emily never sought revenge, she found something far greater: dignity, peace, and a reminder that even in the darkest moments, good people still exist. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to channel name. Your support helps spread kindness and hope to others who might need it today. Sparkle's special request: comment below, "I believe in kindness and courage," to show the world that compassion still wins.